Of it.
Look at the camera and be nice.
Hello, everyone. We are live. Welcome to our episode of Hollywood Matrimony. We're just talking about random life stuff. So, welcome. Today's topic is the ever controversial Halloween and Day of the Dead. You've gotten into some controversy already over Halloween, and I'm
Yes.
gonna start some stuff on Day of the
There's
Dead.
some other controversy about this new show. I don't even know what's going on.
This
right now.
show is love, life, and random musings. You get so many questions about relationships. We get questions about saving money, how we do our trips. Just we get random
Is that what
life
this show
questions.
is?
Yeah, so this is our
Oh,
opportunity to talk to
Because you
people
came
about
looking
life.
like you're homeless.
I am in my pajamas because
I came home from class and was blindsided with dinner. Like, hey, we're gonna do a show, so I have no preparation.
it's Wednesday. So wed goes with Hollywood matrimony
What is wed?
from the Wednesday.
What is Wednesday?
Wednesday.
Oh my God, you're making new words.
No, that's how it's spelled. Wednesday.
This is gonna be a weird show, guys.
All right.
All right. So what are we talking about? I'm sorry.
Halloween
I'm
and
so
Day of the
baffled.
Dead. Today's November 1st. So yesterday was Halloween. Today starts Day of the Dead. It's
Is
like
that
a
what
day
it
or
is?
two.
Okay. I
Yeah.
never remember
I
what
don't
day of
do
the
these
dead it was.
things.
I'm a
It's
white
today.
person, so it's not my day.
I agree.
But I do know it's around the times, but I never forget. I mean, never remember when Day of the Dead actually is.
Yeah.
Dia de la Muerta or whatever.
Dia de los Muertos.
Yeah, that's what I said.
So if you've seen the movie Coco from Disney, you're aware of what Day of the
Or
Dead
Book of
is.
Life.
Or Book of Life. That's a
One of
good
your
one.
favorites.
Oh my gosh, that movie makes me cry all the time. Coco does a little bit too, but not as much.
Look, I even wore. I quickly threw on a Halloween shirt.
I should have put on my Halloween shirt, but then I'd have to get out of my pajamas.
This is my costume. I'm a droid.
Oh my gosh.
I was at class last night and I wore this on Halloween because I taught class, and the kids kept walking over to me. One kid started, and then everybody walking over going boop 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 boop.
I was like, are they going beep beep beep?
Like, why are you poking me and boop booping? That would be the sound I would make talking to you. Anyway, okay, so what are we talking about? Or am I just going to watch you type? Tell me about Halloween.
Yes, Halloween.
Halloween is a time of year when young children wear costumes and get free candy.
Okay, tell me about the controversy that you got into a little bit this week.
I get into this discussion with random people every year. I have no problems with people not celebrating any holiday. I don't care about people's sexual what's the phrase? Orientation. I don't care about their religious beliefs. I don't care about their political affiliation. It is all their business. As long as they're a good person, they're not trying to force their beliefs on other people in a aggressive manner, or trying to create fear mongering, then I have no problem with people doing their own thing. I respect people's choices. And I don't need to answer. When somebody tells me we don't do Halloween, I don't go, oh, why?
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's most people would immediately say that. I assume it's either religious based or your family just doesn't do Halloween.
Correct. Well, and we were talking about this. There's many countries in the world that have no idea about Halloween because it's a very American thing now.
Well, I think my issue with the people against it, and this is probably the only reason I'm glad we're suddenly doing this show, because I got things to do, man. But
we both.
But is so I can say this more publicly to the one or two people that might actually see this, that I haven't said this to already in person, is my issue is, and it really goes for the same for Thanksgiving, for Christmas, for Easter, any of these things. Easter maybe not so much, but Easter falls into it too. Most people don't celebrate any of these things for the reasons they're meant for.
Correct.
The society, what is the
we've commercialized.
Corporate America has gotten involved, and they sell Easter baskets, they sell Christmas trees, they sell Halloween costumes, they sell candies, they sell, that's what these have become about. So majority of people that celebrate Christmas, for instance, they're not really celebrating the birth of Christ. Right. There's a large chunk that are.
That's me.
But
Jesus.
Even you
but I still
doing the Christmas trees and the gifts. And that is a big thing with this family.
I'm okay without Christmas trees. We got rid of
They're not okay
Christmas
without
trees.
Gifts. Their family, good God, man.
I'm
fine never getting a gift, and y'all are like, we
like
need this gift.
Things.
I want this. And I'm just like, I want a hug.
We like to share things with people.
So
why is that wrong?
No, it's fun. It's share things with people. You want things.
No, I'm like, give me cash.
Yeah.
No gifts, please.
So anyway, the argument with the Halloween has always been, Halloween is the day of evil.
Mm-hmm.
And depending on where you look at the birth and the history of Halloween, you are correct and you're incorrect at the same time.
Correct.
So for those that don't know, Halloween's one of the original, or I don't want to say the original because I don't know exactly, but one of the origins of Halloween is All Saints Day, which is a Christian belief. It's celebrating the family, people you love that's passing, the martyrs, things like this. Same as the Day of the Dead idea.
Yes.
Right? Because Day of the Dead is not an evil thing either.
Well, we're gonna get there.
Well,
I'm gonna give you the other sides of all your arguments.
I know that. Yeah, but again, I'm going by actual history.
Okay.
You're going by beliefs probably. So, but then you have the Celtic
beliefs,
that's
where I was gonna go.
Which is a whole nother, that's European countries.
Yeah.
It's not here.
Correct.
They're not even necessarily Christian based, and they've made a pagan time holiday.
Because that was the time of Samhain, when they believed the veil between light and dark, summer and winter, all that thing was the thinnest,
I find hilarious.
Where spirits could come through.
I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, go ahead.
I find hilarious that a thing that is nothing to do with Christianity is where Christianity decided to take their definition of the day.
Well, because...
and ignore what Christianity had made for the day.
Okay. So I'm going to say it's because of that, those rituals, the pagan rituals, that, the Bible specifically says you should not build altars or give offerings or whatever to other gods or deities or whatever.
Okay.
So I think that's where Christians are like, oh, it is evil. It was based in evil. But then we get into the same thing where the people who come to karate and like, we don't do karate because we don't believe in whatever.
This is
even though
this is happening, and I agree with you, because
that happens to us.
But the difference there too is the misinterpretation of the culture of where the martial arts come from
and what it is now.
So they assume that if it's Korean, it's Japanese or Chinese or Thai or whatever, that it's Muslims or Buddhists or whatever. They're not Christian based, so they assume this is Korean in Taekwondo case. It must not be of Christianity.
Correct.
And one has nothing to do with the other in that case. Now, are there schools that push their different beliefs? Absolutely. There's tons of Christian karate schools that run around and they're hardcore push it. I'm against it. I'm not against Christianity. I don't think that's where your religion belongs, because you're open to the public. And if you're going to have people in your class, you have to be willing to be generic if you want to accept everybody. In a religious aspect, there's always going to be that thing is I want you to come learn this, but I'm also pulling you in for this.
Yeah.
Right. If you're running around saying I'm a religious school or I'm a religious this, then the undertone is I expect you to believe this because that's what we're teaching.
What I believe.
So as a student, like I have a lot of Muslims, I have a lot of Jewish people, I have a lot of Christians, I have a lot of different people. I have non-believing people, and they understand. My dad, for instance, is very religious. He speaks in front of the class sometimes and says a Jesus story or whatever, which I told him, stop giving sermons.
Yeah.
Stop pushing religion on my class, because some of these people don't believe the same thing you do. But it's okay to bring it up.
To say, I believe
Speak in the way it speaks to you, or how it changed you, or how it may have to do with this fight and fighting. Jesus says you got to push through for this. And that's what's always helped me. Because you can still get your message across that way without punching somebody in the face that has no interest in it.
Yeah.
Right. So going back to the Halloween stuff, that's the same kind of stuff as you get into the trunk or treats and the fall festivals.
Yeah, that's where I'm just all like, look, if we're Christian and we're saying we don't celebrate Halloween, you shouldn't be doing anything.
Can't do any of that stuff.
I agree.
That's still celebrating Halloween.
That's the controversy to me, is either you don't do Halloween or you do. You don't do something else.
One of the people I had a little bit of a controversy with, not controversy, it was a discussion. It wasn't
like a healthy discussion.
Yeah, we weren't in a fight or anything, but they were going to they had some sort of a church service on that night. Totally fine.
That's fine.
That's sticking with what he's saying. He's saying he doesn't believe it. Now, I didn't like that he was really pushing the fear mongering of tonight is an evil night. People are going to be out there committing crimes.
We believe that.
Yeah, but it's not a night different than the other night.
And I think Latin church is more into that than, I don't know, white church. I don't know, growing up.
Well, here's another.
What did they say to y'all?
Here's another weird
Halloween?
thing. I'm gonna throw the white people under the bus too, because here's a very.
I'm not trying to start problems.
No, but here's a very hypocritical mentality. I grew up. I trick or treated every year. We did candy. We had a Halloween haunted house sometimes. We had parties. Our karate class had a Halloween
That's
party
right.
every
They
year
used to back in
that
the
my
day.
dad used to hold, right? My dad, when I grew up, my dad did not go to church with us. Me and my mother were always at church Wednesdays, Wednesdays, Sunday mornings. My dad was Easter and Christmas, you know.
He was that guy.
Now he's gung-ho into it,
Yeah,
whatever.
He's super into it.
Suddenly he's against Halloween. But the church we were in before clearly didn't have an issue with Halloween because we did Halloween. Suddenly my dad had a problem with Halloween. Now he doesn't run around and say Halloween's evil.
Correct.
We don't do that. I don't want to do that anymore. Fair enough. You don't want to do it? So be it. Don't be a hypocrite. Don't have it. What did I do on Halloween night? Because we don't have little kids. I taught my class so that I could have anybody that doesn't do Halloween or anybody that wanted to get early could come to class. So I want them to sit at home.
We have a wide range of ethnicities and people from different countries that don't celebrate Halloween. It's not a thing in other countries.
Well, and I had one of the ladies ask me. She goes, "I'm surprised you didn't just cancel class." I'm like, y'all don't do Halloween, do you? She's like, no. And I said, I didn't want the kids that don't do Halloween to sit at home going,
yeah,
we can't do anything because everybody else is having this Halloween. It's the same as like people that don't get to have Christmas or whatever it is. I'm like, let's have our normal day.
Yeah.
They can come have class. I told my class, if you do Halloween, awesome. Go get your candy, Halloween. Have a wonderful time. If you don't do Halloween, we're going to be having class.
Yeah.
So either way, it was open.
So I'm going to go back then to you. So thank you for sharing your growing up. My growing up, I've always been in a very
such a sad childhood.
Extremely religious family.
So sad.
We always grew up that Halloween was evil, that's when all the devils and the witches and people are doing their satanic whatever. And so we didn't leave the house. We didn't ever go Halloween trick-or-treating. I remember one time I begged my mom so much that she actually let me get an old sheet, put holes in it, and pretend to be.
So she dressed you up as a Klan member.
So I could be. Oh my God, that's true.
She finally lets you go do something she's against, and she makes you the most racist costume she could possibly make to send you out into the world.
And I went down just our street, and it was one of those where the lady gave out brownies wrapped in foil that she had made.
But back then it wasn't as bad.
And yeah, apples and fruits and
I
stuff.
did all week,
but I did get candy
all week long leading into this, just because you said the brown. I'll let you finish your story. I'll let you send the little brown girl as a Klan member.
And it wasn't even a white sheet, guys.
It had flowers and crap on it.
It was like one that had like lightly striped pastels.
That's the worst. I remember having a friend who was dressed as a ghost one year, and his mom did the same thing, but he had like a flowered sheet. And I'm like, "What are you?" And he goes, "I'm a ghost." I'm like, "Are you like a gay ghost or what is?" And he's like, "No, I'm just a ghost. Why?" I said, "There's flowers all over you." And he goes, "That's the only sheet I had." And so one of our friends was not the smartest. He goes, "Did you try turning it inside out?" And he goes, "No." So he turned it around. He goes, "Is that better?" We're like, "It's the same, man."
Okay, tell me about your favorite Halloween costume, the one that I love that your mom did.
You know what, the werewolf one?
Yes. Okay, we're digressing, but tell me about this. And then we're going to talk a little bit about Day of the Dead.
I grew up with not a lot of money, and so my mom did the best she could. And there's a lot of different costumes. I don't even know if you know about all of them.
No.
There's a few of them. There was one year that I don't know if it was me or my mom was a bag of trash.
Yeah.
That she basically stuffed a big trash bag to like a big circle, and then just like taped or stapled like a banana peel in a can. I don't know why the trash was outside of the bag, but it was on the outside so that you knew she was trash. My mom also one year, before I tell you mine, she had a hat. They were kind of big back in the day, were like those trucker type hats, but it had the puffball on top of it.
Oh my god!
You know, like you have on the back of your socks.
Yes.
I don't know where she got the hat, but it was like baby blue, right? Okay. She wore that, and she painted her face blue and told everybody she was a Smurf because it was white and blue. And so didn't paint anything, just her face. She didn't paint her hands. Her outfit was just her normal mom clothes, but she had a blue face and a hat. I'm a Smurf. That's the extent of my mom's effort for costuming. So one year,
I'm assuming she would take you, right?
Yeah, I believe
she would dress up.
You know, it's weird. I don't remember my parents. I know I went all the time, but I don't remember my parents taking me.
Did they just say? Well, this was in the 70s.
They might have sent me off.
70s and 80s. People
friends.
just let you go out there.
Yeah,
nobody cared.
So I've always loved werewolves, even when I was a kid. I obviously I didn't know them like I know them now, but the only one I knew was the old Universal monster werewolf, right? I was like, I begged and begged and begged for this Wolfman costume mask. It's too expensive. I can't afford it. I can make that. And much like many haircuts, hemmed pants, having one leg longer than the other, and various bootleg clothing and things that I had. I knew this wasn't going to end well. So my mom decides, she did buy me the like a makeup kit.
Okay, cool.
It had like a little bit of an animal nose
Oh,
kind of thing. It was supposed to have the animal nose in this, like the under cheek.
Oh,
and
yeah.
it made it look like a dog nose kind of thing.
Yeah.
And the little teeth and whatever. She couldn't get it to stick on my face because she didn't buy the spirit stuff.
The spirit glue.
I don't know what she used for the stuff she did stuck on my face, but that's a whole nother thing of getting it off. I'm not. She might have used Elmer's glue. I don't remember for sure, but I want to vaguely remember peeling that stuff for days.
Your mom.
So my mom decided to make me a werewolf costume. She goes, "All you need. This is easy. We got this stuff at the house." I'm like, "What do we have that's a werewolf at our house?" I have a dog. We're gonna put the dog on my face. So she's like, "Here's your Dracula teeth, the little white cheap ones." I'm like, okay, I'm halfway there, I guess. She commences to gluing cotton balls to my face. And again, I don't know what they're connected with. But she covered my entire front of my face with white cotton balls. Right? There wasn't even like a design where it was like supposed to be hairy and then skin. They're just white ass cotton balls, and she overlaid them all over my face, right? Not even my neck, not my hand. She ended up putting, because I said something, my hands look weird. That's what looked weird. That my hands look normal. So she put some just on top of my hands.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And I'm like, okay. And then I told her, I'm like, but I'm supposed to be brown or black or gray. I'm not white. She starts trying to paint the cotton balls.
You should have done that.
Cotton balls, if you don't know this, it's hard to paint a cotton ball. So now I have these weird, dirty cotton balls on me. And I got Wolfman teeth, and I'm like, you know. And now I'm supposed to go trick-or-treating with my friends looking like this. And I'm like, but I need clothes. She goes, you have clothes on. I'm like, no, Wolfman, and they tear up. She goes, you can't tear up your school clothes. And I'm like, what about play? She goes, just put on a pair of pants. She goes, you don't have to wear a belt. And I'm like, so if I remember correctly, she might have found me a, not denim, button-up stripe shirt. What do they call them?
Just
like a lumberjack wear?
Oh, flannel.
Flannel shirt. I think she might have found me a flannel shirt to wear. And so I had my little white puffed hands, big puff face. I was the stupidest looking werewolf you would ever see in your life. And I remember having to walk around all day, and I was just like, and having to explain to everybody what I was. Somebody asked me if I was a poodle. I will never forget being asked if I was a poodle. Are you a poodle? I'm like, no, I'm a werewolf. See,
you're selling it. That's what.
It was just,
oh my gosh!
It is both the greatest and worst costume I've ever had.
Oh my!
That might be a reason I was so obsessed with having such cool costumes.
Yeah.
But like, I will never be this again.
We should do that to the kid. Make her a werewolf.
Oh my god!
Oh my gosh! She already has better.
I'm mad at my mother again now.
I'm gonna have to call her and talk to her about it.
And usually my parents, my mom, well, technically both my parents had a little bit of a drinking problem back then too, so I'm not explaining it. But I'm pretty sure they were probably drinking while we were trick or treating. So they were with their friends cackling and laughing. And I remember we had this group of friends. There's two friends lived down the street I hung out with, and when we met up to go trick or treating, they were like, "What are you supposed to be?" I said, "Don't talk to me. Let's just go." So they always got all the cool stuff, and I was like, my one G.I. Joe figure with no arm and my cotton ball werewolves.
Oh my gosh!
Anyway,
you're so funny. You're hilarious. Okay. Then today is Dia de los Muertos, or Day of the Dead. So as we mentioned in Coco or Book of Life or
Coco Beware.
Yes, Coco Beware. So again, celebration. I'm gonna say based in kind of pagan rituals as well. Okay, here's the interesting thing. If you look it up, it says it goes back before pre-Columbian time. Well, first of all, forget you, Syphilis Columbus. I'm over of hearing.
Did you say Syphilis Columbus?
Yes, they created syphilis.
I know, he didn't create it. He brought it.
Well, they ended up making it by having choo with animalis.
I'm not art. I know that part.
And so when they get back into wherever country they came from, the doctor has like, I've never seen anything like this before. And him and all the men had it. So of course, who do they blame? The poor slaves they brought back.
Of course.
And it was them.
I know.
Cochinos. Anyways, so this goes back thousands of years before that. These are celebrations.
Don't worry, you won't have to hear about that in history anymore because we're not allowed to tell real history.
Well, no,
we have to whitewash history now.
Whatever. So we're now Aztecs, Mayans, all those kinds of people. They believe too that after death, their family members or whatever had to complete cycles in the dead to be able to reach final peace or whatever. So Day of the Dead is honoring them as well. And as you know, they also take them offerings or food.
And here's again what's hypocritical about that.
I don't do that either.
A lot of those same people are against Halloween. But it's the same thing.
It's the exact same thing.
The only difference is they're not getting
these people
candy.
are in Europe. These people are over here.
Well, but they're not getting candy. They're giving offerings.
Foods and offerings.
You know, and I don't think there's this whole thing is every religion picks and chooses what they decide to follow. No, don't say
No, I said I know.
They all do it. There's stuff in the Bible that says you can't do that. And there's other in the Bible that says you can do that. But depending on which faith of the Bible determines if you can do that or not.
Well, we don't do that either. We were always told that was bad too.
But y'all do that because you don't follow everything in the Bible.
No, but I don't do Day of the Dead.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm not talking about that
Halloween
specific. I'm
whatever.
talking about how the context of a lot of stuff that there's so many things in the Bible that Christians are not supposed to do that they do still.
I'm going to blame you if I did do anything. It's your fault.
You're doing some weird crap way before I met you. But I'm not talking about like weird pervy stuff or anything like that. I'm just saying there's things like eating certain things or doing certain things or celebrating certain things.
Oh no, we can't eat blood.
No, but there's certain aspects of the way people look at things that are said in the Bible that you can no longer eat, whether it's pork or you're not supposed to eat this or you're not supposed to kill this or you're not supposed to, you're not supposed to have a tattoo, but then something else says you can, and then you're not supposed to do this, but then this says you can, and because 90% of what's in in the Bible can be interpreted, and I'm not saying you interpret it anyway. Nobody's right or wrong because it's your own interpretation, and there's a whole aspect of faith versus fact where your strong faith is fact to you because of your faith.
Correct.
And I would never tell somebody they're wrong. We disagree on stuff like that all the time, but I would never tell you you're wrong.
Yes,
even when you are.
I agree specifically on the what to eat things. Like I believe New Testament wipes out the law. Again, though, it's really for the Gentiles. I think Jewish people still follow Jewish customs, which is totally fine. That's the whole thing. But the rest of the world, we're not that. So that's the other thing that gets me. People who try to follow Jewish customs and religions when they're not even Jewish.
Yeah.
Like we're not really. That seems
Jews
that
for
just
Jesus
seems rude.
and stuff like that.
But
and what baffles me is I don't want to say this to sound mean because I don't mean it that way. Is I know people are just trying to find their place. They're trying to find their way. They're trying to find that thing that speaks to them. And I
find honoring their customs and traditions very lovely.
Yeah, I know people are trying to find their way,
Jewish,
but when I do see somebody that's running around as a Christian and believes in Jesus and believes in God, but then they're celebrating all the Jewish holidays.
That's a lot.
To me, that seems contradictory based on the religions.
It does.
But then they also, I've heard of them,
the
explanation is, but the Jewish people were Jesus's people, so
they are Jesus's people.
So they look at it as it's okay to do this, but then you go to some churches. What is it? The Church of Christ people that don't allow instruments.
Yes, that's a whole other thing.
You go to your church, it's the entire freaking Brady Bunch.
Correct.
Or
I believe there's music in heaven, so there's music here. Buddy.
So it's those little things like I don't believe that the nonsense of people healing and people falling down.
I believe all that.
And
I do believe that.
But it's all nonsense because none of that is actually happening. Those people are just buying into the nonsense.
I don't think so. I think it's really happening. And that's okay.
I've never once seen it happen to you. I've never once seen you at church of all the years that I went to church with you. Never once did I see you fall down for prayer or start shaking or anything else. Not once.
I don't think I'm a faller downer because I'm a kneeler. So I'm already kneeling.
No, but I've seen you kneel down to pray, but I've never seen you suddenly get touched by somebody. You're like this. I've never seen you start doing the dances, and I've seen people at your church do these weird crap. I've never once in our time together.
The dances.
No, you've never. You're dancing,
but
you've
been there.
So it only happens when I don't show up. Got it.
Babe, you haven't
So this
been
is like
there in years and years.
Yeah, but I went for years and years.
I know,
and
but
so the entire.
But I have become more.
Oh, here we go. See, this is where they get you.
No, I think
things changed suddenly when I left.
No, I think I've grown more in my biblical studies. I've been more involved. I've been studying and learning more. So I think I'm having a better relationship with God than before.
I don't doubt that.
You progress.
But why would that suddenly change whether you get healed by the people when you believe in church? But
here's the thing: I believe it's true.
See, that doesn't make any sense, though.
It doesn't have to because it's faith.
It is faith, but I think it's also theatrics. I think
sometimes it can be.
I think most of the people that do the falling down and the shaking their body around and their nonsense is their own way of trying to show everybody, look, I feel it. That's not actually happening. They're doing it themselves. And then they're being over dramatic because they're probably the same people that will flip their lid about every little thing that happens.
Yeah, maybe.
It's the same idea of like Pee Wee Herman's character, Mystery Man. Or not Pee Wee Herman, Kel Mitchell's character, Mystery Man, who's invisible only when you don't look at him.
Yes,
that's the idea. Yeah. Is
that's how it works.
A lot of, I like I said, I don't argue faith. I mean religion, but I'll argue the truth, in fact, and the fiction of what's there. Because, again, my firm belief, we've talked about this before, is a lot of what's in the Bible are metaphors and left up to your own faith and how you interpret it for your belief. Which is why we have so many religions as well. As I think it's for that culture and where we come from is how they understand things, and why there's so many problems that we leave here and go to another country to try to make them believe the way we believe is against religious beliefs. It is. You're trying to change cultures that you're not supposed to be doing that. Now, witnessing to somebody is one thing. Forcing your religion on somebody is something else.
I agree.
But that's what most witnessing is.
Because I think you need to, again, it goes back to what you were saying earlier. Instead of pushing, you need to say, this is my experience I want to share with you. I'm not telling you what to do.
You should be letting people come to you, not jumping into people's face. You know, like, so I have one friend that's a street preacher. We have some other people that do those kind of. I'm fine with them doing that. That's fine. I don't have a problem with that. But don't stop me if I'm walking down the street and hand me stuff or start talking in my face.
That's the other thing. I feel like those opportunities present themselves organically, and God puts people in your path that maybe need an uplifting word, or they need to hear, or they will come and ask. Like I've had people ask me. That's a whole different conversation. Yes. Oh, well, let's talk about it. But I don't think you necessarily need to be pushing all the time.
I don't think you should be bothering people at their job while they're working.
That you're gonna get fired. There was this one lady at church that got fired because she was she was working in an old folks home and she was preaching to all the old folks, and some of the family members got upset.
I don't blame them. My issue is
you got to know when.
Again, I think you wait to be approached. It's fine to be out there and preach and do your thing. And if somebody stops and starts listening, ask them, are you interested in what we're talking about? Then you talk to them.
I agree.
Even though I find it a gray area, if you're standing out on the street corner and you're handing out like gospel tracts or whatever like that, that's fine too. Just as long as you're handing it and letting people go. Not going, let me talk to you about that. Hey, come back here. I don't agree with putting them on stuff, putting them on menus or putting them in people's bags when you're handing them stuff.
The thing that always rubs me wrong, and it has for forever and ever, are the people that are out there with the signs like, you're going to burn in hell if you don't accept Jesus. Like, that is such the wrong message, guys. Jesus is about love.
The biggest problem with most religion
now
I can't is the fear-mongering.
Yes,
in my opinion.
I can't deal with
most people that are against Christianity or against religion in general are because they feel like it's being shoved down their throat. But at the same time, I know the counter argument is going to be like, oh yeah, well, because everybody's going to get defensive immediately because I said that. The religious people are going to be like, oh yeah, well, they're always shoving transgender and gay down our throat. And it's not the same, because the reason it's getting shoved, anything that's happening in the world, whether it's politics, religion, sexuality, all this stuff is shoved down the throat, it's because there's other people fighting about it and making it a big deal.
Yeah.
Like, there is nothing in this world, whether it's who's the president, what your religious belief is, what your sexuality is going to directly affect everybody else.
Yeah.
Because I can tell you right now, sure, not counting gas prices or taxes or anything, that there's never been one time where a president went into office and my day changed. There's never been one time that I found out I knew
Babe,
somebody that
those
was.
gas prices, though.
Well, that's what I'm saying. That's
the
a
one
yes.
thing.
But I'm just saying, but my day didn't change. My life didn't change.
I know.
Right?
Well,
never once is I found out somebody was gay or got divorced and my life was affected, unless it was me having it.
But then I think the reason like LGBTQIA comes up is because depending on the president and their legal whatever and their beliefs, it can affect an entire group of people.
I agree with that. That's not what I'm talking about.
And I think that's why it does come up. But I think also as Christians, you don't have to agree, obviously, with the lifestyle. Obviously, the Bible talks about sexual morality, all that. Okay, fine. But we are also called to love every single person in the world,
also supposed to be
and to talk to them and show them love and compassion, because that's the only way that you'll be able to even talk to them about your religion.
Yeah, I'm not referring to, when I say it doesn't affect my life, I'm not referring to like when they take away your rights.
Babe, you have white privilege.
That is true. I have white straight privilege, and I squandered it married to a brown woman.
No.
You took advantage of me to get my white privilege.
I totally did.
I'm not referring to that stuff.
Yeah.
I'm talking about just the generalization of how people
life
step
continues.
up and go, oh my God, someone being gay, my life is over.
Yeah.
Like
it's not even about you.
Right. But there's also supposed to be the whole separation of church and state.
Yes.
And that does not exist anymore.
Not anymore. I mean, there's people preaching in church about who you should vote for.
Because I have
OMG.
I know it is impossible for someone's religious beliefs or their agendas to completely be pushed to the side because of your political office. It's not possible because that's who you are. Yeah. Right?
Yeah, it's part of who
you're going to make decisions and stuff based on, but they've stopped thinking about this isn't about me.
Right. It's about
thinking about the people. Does this really affect, like, I don't agree with this. And they can say that publicly. Look, I don't agree with gay marriage. Right. But my belief has nothing to do with what's right. I think we should have this gay marriage or whatever. Instead, it's always hate. And that's kind of shifting all the way back to the Halloween conversation, which is what we're supposed to be having.
Mm-hmm. Well, we're getting
it's done the same thing, is that people have taken a day and decided this is what it is. And most of those people that have the hardest issues with it have no idea any history about it. They just know scary movies, monsters, the devil, evil. And that's it. They don't know where Halloween started. They don't know All Hallows Eve. They don't know All Saints Day. They don't know about Celtic pagan rituals. They know nothing.
Mm-hmm.
They just decided because someone else said it was bad. Mm-hmm. Just like someone else told somebody at our karate class, oh, that's against Christianity.
Yeah.
And then they never asked me. They just told me I can't do this anymore.
Yeah, I can't come to your class because it's not rooted in Christian beliefs.
And I told them flat out, I was like, you realize that everybody in our class are Christian people. Maybe it's because they were Baptist. I don't know.
Yeah, it's a Baptist. I mean, because
no, they weren't Baptist. Like my dad and everybody else were Baptist. I don't even know what they were.
Well, did you see there was a whole video that Mr. Yates put down about can Christians practice martial arts? Because he's also very heavily religious. So, anyways, talking about again Halloween, Day of the Dead. Do it, don't do it. My thing is, if you're not going to do it, then you shouldn't do trunk or treat. You shouldn't have little costumes at church. Don't do anything.
Because that is, in fact, celebrating Halloween.
And the churches that sell pumpkins. Like, that to me is so anti, like, it goes, I'm confused.
It's the simple idea of saying, well, we didn't call it Halloween, so it's different. And so I was telling somebody, I think one of the guys last night, I was like, you know what it is? It's the velvet rope.
Yes.
It's the velvet rope. When any of us walk up to a velvet rope, we know we can't pass it, so we walk around. When in reality, the velvet rope doesn't stop anything, right? They changed the Halloween to Fall Festival or trunk or treat. The demons are going to be like, oh, I thought this was a Halloween thing. Well,
hey, come here.
This is a trunk or treat. I'm going down to the block, And it's stupid. It's the same thing. And the kids are still getting costumes on most of the time. They're still getting candy. They're doing the exact same thing. And then I've heard some of them, their argument is like, well, they're going to be out anyway. So what we've done is we're creating a safer environment. Well, if they're with their parents and they're out walking around.
Yeah, if you're with your kid, it should be safe.
All the crazy stuff that happens is going to happen whether, in this world, these things are happening every day. And like that was one of the controversial arguments of discussion I was in that somebody else jumped in. They're making it sound like October 31st is the worst night of the night. I think everybody's going to die.
I think New Year's Eve is actually the worst statistically.
They were like, it's why not spread, hey, be safe, give some pointers on how to be safe. Hey, it's not as safe to go trick-or-treating. Maybe go to a trunk or treat. Maybe go to your school festival. Do this, or make sure you go with groups of people and have flashlights, and don't go out past 8 o'clock, or and instead of just fear-mongering and saying it's evil and death and bleh, and talk about this stuff is happening every day. Let's fight evil every day.
Well,
not at October 31st is the worst day of the year, because it ain't.
Well, it is evil, but
it's not evil.
It's not the worst day.
It's not evil.
I think it's evil, and that's okay. But I use it to just hang out with my friends.
But you're celebrating Halloween.
To hang out with my friends.
Oh, fine. Okay, the demons don't come because you're with your friends. I've met your friends. They brought them with them.
They're nerdy.
But Halloween is not evil. It's how you celebrate Halloween is what we're
I'm going to stick that it's evil.
If I put on my Slee Stack costume and I'm walking around with a Smirnoff, hanging with my friends, or I'm with my grandkid getting candy door to door, there's nothing evil going on. If I put on the Slee Stack costume and I'm sitting in front of a pentagram with candles on the floor and I'm like, all hell, Satan, now it's evil. It's two different things. It's just like the people are like, we don't believe in Jesus and Christianity and stuff, but they got a Christmas tree and they're doing gifts and everything else.
Right.
It's the same thing.
That's the thing.
Because it all comes down to the context of how you're promoting and or celebrating this thing. And I'm fine with everybody celebrating Hanukkah. I'm fine with you celebrating Christmas. I'm fine with you celebrating Halloween, Thanksgiving, anything you want. Just don't make it like it's something that it's not. Like, I know what Christmas is. I don't celebrate Christmas. I'll be the first to tell you. I don't walk around and saying I'm celebrating Christmas because it's the birth of Jesus. I'm celebrating Christmas because it's a holiday I do with my family. Now, I know you're different because you're more into church than I am.
I'll go to church on Christmas.
And
I'm good with that.
I don't, but it's not because I'm against that. It's
Christmas Eve is on a Sunday, so I'm assuming we're going to have a Christmas Eve service. If you want to come.
We're busy that day.
If you want to come.
We are busy.
No, we're busy the next day.
No, we're not. We have all of our stuff on that day.
I know.
With the family stuff.
Well, so we're going to have it.
I don't know how you're going to work that out.
We're not having either. We're just going to my family's for dinner.
No, it's not my family too.
Christmas Eve.
I know. We do everything on Christmas Eve.
No, we're going to do theirs the week before.
Maybe, but we've only done that once.
We'll do it the week before. We'll have tacos.
So essentially, I'll be spending Christmas Eve alone, it sounds like. So if any of my hoes don't celebrate, dinner. Any of my ladies that don't celebrate prostitution want to come to my house.
Wow. Anyways.
Anyway,
any final thoughts?
No, it's just
you're on the not evil. I'm on the evil.
But see,
good way to leave it.
But you're in the trunk or treat category.
I don't trick or treat. I don't believe you should be doing anything.
I know that, but you do stuff.
Because I just want to hang out with my friends.
Okay, but it's the same thing. If that's what I'm telling you.
Okay, so then no more Halloween.
Okay. I mean, for you, I'm having Halloween. I don't know what you're doing. You can sit in your room by yourself with your Bible and.
I'll just have friends over, but it won't.
You can't have friends over because
I can have friends over.
They're celebrating Halloween.
We're not celebrating.
None of those friends of yours celebrating Christianity. Trust me, I've met them.
They're nice people.
Are they though?
Well, okay, fine. They're gonna watch.
You bringing like the Hindu lady over here is gonna cause all kinds of problems.
Yeah, but she says stuff about Jesus, so she acknowledges all of them.
I know.
The world is a complicated place. How about everybody does everything, doesn't hurt anybody else?
If people just mind their business,
mind your beeswax.
And if you're anti-Halloween, fine. Talk about how to be safer. Talk about alternatives to do things. Don't fearmonger. Talk about how bad it is.
That's the other thing. Give an alternative. Don't
if
just
you
make
want to say,
statement.
we're going to have a church service. So if you have issues with Halloween and you don't think you don't feel comfortable in this, and you want to learn about something else, come over here at our service on 31st.
That'd be cool.
But if not, instead of making people make people feel guilty or try to tell people they're wrong, which is the other issue. People got to stop telling everybody else they're wrong when it comes to religion, because you're not. No person is right. No person is wrong, right, because you don't know. You know your faith, but at the end of the day, until you die, you have no idea. Mm-hmm. Like, I believe in God. I'm not saying I don't. I know it probably sounds like I don't, but I do. But it's not a case of I don't blindly follow anything. I will read it. I will judge for myself. I'll make my own interpretation. I'm not going to listen. Her dad's a minister. I wouldn't sit at church and listen to her dad and be like, what he says is exactly what it is. Because your dad's just another human being like me.
You should listen to what I say.
I don't listen to nothing you say.
I'll be preaching on Sunday if you want to come down.
I'm definitely not listening to anything she says. She's crazy. Anyway, I just think that if you believe in Halloween, do Halloween. Just separate it.
Everybody should just Go.
I also feel
be happy and love people.
I am a
and
firm
let's just be
believer
nice.
if Thanksgiving and Christmas are going to be holidays, then Halloween should be a holiday because they push it to the same extent.
Right.
And so if it's not going to be, then we shouldn't have Thanksgiving off. We should have Christmas off.
No, but I need
Christmas. We
off.
technically shouldn't even be off. It's a religious holiday, and it shouldn't be a celebrated thing. There should not be a such thing as a government issued
religious holiday.
Religious holiday, because again, it should be separation of church and state. We're not getting any Jewish days off. We're not getting any Muslim days off.
If you worked in a Jewish organization, you would.
They will, but I'm saying it's not a government holiday.
But only Jewish employees. Because
exactly. That's what I'm saying.
Which is why I have that whole.
I remember back when Good Friday was a holiday back in the day. Yeah. Like we get out of school,
you get out early,
everything else. But 90% of people didn't celebrate anything. They got off.
I know.
You know, so I don't think the problem is this all circles back to the same mentality of white privilege. Is as long as one person believes it's this thing, that's what's right.
Yeah.
Everybody else is wrong. And it becomes an issue.
And it's also that thing of like you don't care until it's something that affects you. Mm-hmm. And people are like happy to have Christmas off because they want the holiday. They don't care about Jesus.
Well, that's the same as Independence Day, 4th of July.
Yeah, like Veterans Day is next week. Like nobody, I don't think anybody's
all these
caring.
People post about.
I care, but
all these people are that post about. Oh, the soldiers died for our country. We're celebrating their soldiers, the soldiers. I know there's some people, there's veterans, and there's people like that truly take that day to heart. But everybody else is having a barbecue. Mm-hmm. And they're looking for a reason to be off work, to cook out, blow up fireworks, shoot off guns, and wear clothing made out of flags, which you're not supposed to be doing anyway.
That is so
for people that are supposed to be super patriotic, you're not supposed to be wearing things of your flag.
I know.
That's supposed to be against the country. Like in any other country you go to is a problem. Mm-hmm. Like I remember being in Thailand and them having stuff like our flag is not your clothes. Like they didn't have any kind of shirts, anything like that. They would just be the flag or bandanas or. But this Yahoo's here. You walk around with their flip flops and their American flag bathing suits and T-shirts and their Texas tennis shoes and.
It's too much.
Anyway.
All right. Thank you so much.
Halloween is awesome.
It's
Enjoy
okay.
it or don't do it. Live your life. Leave people alone.
I think just don't do it. Who knows? All right.
I don't really know what this show's purpose was, but
we're just talking about random things.
It allowed me to yell.
Well, next week we'll talk about like relationship things.
Oh Jesus, you're gonna get in trouble that day.
Why? What did I do?
I got some things to say to you.
Wow. Thank you so much for watching. Please go check out our website, HollywoodMatrimony.com, where we fight and talk about movies, much like we did today.
If you have a topic you want, I guess now that this apparently is a thing that I didn't know was going to be. So
throw some topics.
If you have a topic you want to hear about, then shoot us a message, and I guess we'll talk about it.
We're going to talk about relationships next week because you got some questions recently about what? I don't know. You get a lot of questions about random things.
I don't know why people think we're in a good relationship.
We'll have
we clearly faked it well.
We're also going to have a show. We're going to talk about saving money, budgeting, going on fancy vacations. We'll talk about things. All right. That's it.
We'll talk about different things that we put together and all kinds of, I guess.
My saving money topic is going to be controversial. I already know. Y'all aren't going to
And I'll tell you now, my wife has planned a lot of podcasts, a lot of shows. It's the first one she's actually shot. This might very well be the last one, so I'm just giving you a heads up.
No, I think it'll be fun.
She's not known for sticking with these shows, but we'll see.
We'll try. Bye. You're such a hater.